Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome to a video here today with the latest Kaiju number 8 release, and that is Kaiju number 9. Yeah, so I am pretty surprised at how articulated this guy is, especially after the last few. Definitely worried, but no, I am, yeah, we'll check out the articulation a little bit later. For now, let's have a look at the box, which is that standard Kaiju 8 style with a kind of a splattering look on there, which is cool. And then on the back, a selection of images showcasing what it comes with, and yeah, as we can see, extra arms, the effect as well, which is really cool. So anyway, let's pop them out of the box so we can get a closer look at all those accessories. So Kaiju 9 in the center, and he is tall, right? Huge. I mean, we have Kaiju 8 here as well for a bit of a comparison. Probably kind of, yeah, slightly taller than Kaiju 8, so definitely a tall figure. And then we get, what's that, 3 additional hairs. So we've got like the, well, no eyes, teeth kind of smile look. And then again, slightly open mouth. Again, one with the eyes and no eyes, and the full on mouth open one as well. We get the bonus head for Kaiju 8 that I can't wait to put on. It's got the what's it like? What would you even call that? Like the green eye effect, right? The light coming from this eye, which is cool. And then we get, what's that, 4 additional pairs of hands. So these ones are kind of similar, and the reason for that is because we have the additional arms. So here's 4 arms, so this one attaches on, so then we kind of get like the fingers spread one and kind of a bit more of a pointing one for both left and right, and then we get the one with the effect on. I think these were like spores from memory, mushroom spores. Man, I need to give it another rewatch. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I think this one he shoots out at people. If you remember, definitely let me know in the comments below. But yeah, anyway, as we can see, a lot of stuff going on with this figure. So anyway, I'll pop them out, I'll chuck them on the turntable so we can look at the overall finish for this release. So we have him on the turntable. I've already popped his shoulders off. So he has a changeable shoulder blade, which is kind of attached to his spine shield armor. So really easy. This pops off, and then his other arms, which are attached to a similar piece, just slot straight in. Really easy to interchange, which is great. Now for the overall finish for this body, he has kind of a greyish clay type of a colour for his body, which is nice, along with the brighter brown colours for the toe tips, his spikes, his elbow and knees and so forth. The printing of a pattern for his shoulders, chest and the arm parts is nice as well. Lots of sculpting and detail throughout his whole body, so even though it is kind of for the most part base plastic colouring, due to all of these sculpting marks on there, it does capture the light well, so it does give us, you know, shadows and highlights here and there. So a lot more depth and detail on this figure than you would expect. Kind of similar to that of Kaiju 8, but I feel like maybe a little bit better since it's a lighter colour opposed to just the black colouring. Plastic's a little bit shiny. Maybe a matte finish on this type of figure would work really well actually. But yeah, besides that, I think overall, I mean, not too much for the finishing, to be honest, as, yeah, like I said, mainly just sort of a base plastic colouring. The hand effects are really cool. We'll get a closer look at this soon. But yeah, the translucent parts are, you know, moulded well, and they slot over the things, so it looks really cool for each of the hands. But we'll check them in pose, utilising those a little bit later. But for now, let's pop them off this so we can take a look at the articulation for this figure. So while we look at the articulation, I'll leave the shoulders on just so you can get a closer look at it, and, you know, the articulation with this on, if it will hinder it at all or not. Now the head itself can look down really well. Same for up, and it swivels around well on the actual top neck joint, as well as the lower neck. We get a few mil of motion too, but everything else there feels really fluid. The top shoulders here, they move well. The horns, or the spikes I should say, will stop it from articulating up too far though, so that's something to keep in mind. But this is crazy good. Look at that. He can basically swivel his arms all the way over and around, so really good range of motion there. And it's, I don't know, it's kind of crazy when you get figures that can cross their arms over to such an extreme, because it's very rare. Normally they kind of go to like this point, right? But I guess due to the slender body and the extra range in those shoulders there, crazy good range of motion there. We get the upper, I guess it's more shoulder, bicep, but you know, same diff. We get range of motion there. The arm is extremely good too, and then we get, the elbow is extremely good, double jointed there, swings around well for insane range of motion, and then we have the usual peg on the wrist, which is pretty decent as well. Your stock standard wrist really. Same for the top here, these will swivel on the joint, same bicep swivel, same elbow design, so crazy good range of motion there. So you can tuck them in if you want, and they can pop out, do an extra surprise punch. So as I mentioned, these are really easy to switch on and off. So let's pop off now, and that will reveal the inside part. Then you can take the shoulder caps or shoulder blade caps and just pop them in like so. So really easy. So we'll leave them like this for now for the rest of the articulation. Now, just like Reno is solid plastic here, but ooh, look at that, he actually has a decent range of motion up top. Going back a bit more limited, but you can swivel around as well, which isn't too much of an issue. And then on that lower, just above the hip joint there, we get a few more mil of range of motion too, and he can swivel. So I was quite surprised at that. It's not the most prettiest of joints, but to be honest, there's probably a bit more of a limitation of the character design being so slim. It's probably a bit hard to make it look a little bit more, I guess, cleaner. But you know what? It does work, and surprisingly a great range of motion. Same with the legs here. Do the splits. We get upper thigh swivel. Going forward, pretty decent. Going back, pretty decent as well. Yeah, we get some big gaps here, but nothing too different from other releases at least. The knee joint is crazy good, goes all the way up and over, and then the foot here, normal peg, we get some motion, both swivel and pivot, so not too bad. Maybe a design a bit more similar to that of Naruto figures could have been nice, but I don't see it being too much of a hindrance on this release at all. And finally, before we jump over to the faceplates, also want to point out that the hip joint can go up and down as well. So if you want to close up the gap a little bit, you can lift it up, and you can pull it down as well to get some more motion if needed. So obviously if you're up really high, you're trying to articulate it out, it will hit on the different parts, so you can drop it down to lift it up further. This is something to keep in mind. A lot of figures do have this, so if in doubt, you can always just see if it will just slot down or not. So yeah, first glance, some of these faces aren't that different, right? It's just the eyes or no eyes, right? But then that one with a mouth open with a tongue poke, that one's just insanely creepily good, right? And then we get the bonus face for Kaiju 8, which is awesome, for the squiggly green blue I know light streams coming from his eyes, which is pretty cool. So it'd be fun to do some, like, I guess, intense poses with Kaiju 8, coming with a big punch into Kaiju 9 with that faceplate. Now I need to check this seriously. I don't remember when he had eyes versus when he didn't. If you remember, drop a comment below and remind everyone. But I think my favourite of them is probably one with the eyes. The little tiny beady ones are definitely creepy, and then obviously all the printing, the definition of the teeth and the colouring there is really nice on each of the different faceplates as well. Okay, I just spent ages trying to balance them without a stand, and I got close so many times. So a challenge to everyone: if you get this figure, try to balance him in this pose, and see if you can get a photo of it. I think it's something you need to have a lot of patience for, and maybe a table that doesn't move if you bump it either. But anyway, coming to the figure itself, when you put on those additional arms and those effects, it is so cool. And all of the extra articulation, the double joints for the, both the elbows and knees really help to give into some cool poses. You can spend a lot of time refining the poses as well due to all the points of articulation. As mentioned, this is kind of a quick pose just to try to show off the different effects with him and how he looks. And yeah, I think he looks pretty damn cool. But yeah, let me switch out some more parts on him, and then we can maybe have a bit of a comparison with some of the other Kaiju 8 figures before we wrap up. Man, this guy is definitely creepy. I don't know why, it gives me real Silent Hill vibes for some reason. But yeah, anyway, switching over hands with those clawing ones is really cool. All the veins and the sculpting there looks really nice. And this face with a tongue poking out is pretty damn cool as well. Definitely creepy, and works really well, especially when combined with the additional set of arms. Okay, so we've got a bit of a lineup here with Kaiju 9, 8 with a bonus face with Kaiju 9 here, along with Mina and Neno. So yeah, what do you think about the Kaiju 8 lineup so far? Obviously we have Kikoru coming soon. Hoshino has also gone for pre-order, I think. Yeah, after that, there's a few more characters I definitely want. I really want Kaiju 10 personally. It'd be nice to get a few more of those Kaiju monsters in here. Maybe even some of the lower level ones to mix and match would be pretty damn fun. I highly doubt we'll get them, but it would be cool though. So yeah, like one thing, we can just jump into the pros and the cons here, but one con with this figure, definitely a little bit harder to pose and stand up due to him being really tall and a bit more top heavy with his head. And I don't know about you guys, but I know my Kaiju 8, his ankles are definitely a little bit weaker, and I feel like I've gotten a bit more weaker over time. So depending on the pose, he does kind of fall over a little bit. I feel like that could be the case with Kaiju 9 too. Maybe it is due to the extra weight, or maybe it's a temperature change as well. If it gets warmer, joints loosen up a little bit more compared to winter. Need to have a little wee look over time for that though. So I think maybe using a stand would be ideal. Though one issue, since he is so skinny, he's hard to use a stand, right? Now you can put it on, but it looks ugly. It could be nice to maybe also have one of these spine points here pop off, so you could attach a stand directly into the back of him, kind of like how we can do it with the Gundam. Oh man, what's it called? The recent Gundam series. Anyway, so the Mercury Venus thingamajig, that series. You could do it on the back of them, and also the Spider-Verse figures. I think that would have made it a little bit more user-friendly, and would have been nice at least to be able to do some aerial poses without having a stand clamped around his tiny waist. Yeah, the bonus face for Kaiju 8 is really cool, definitely a little bit more unique. I mean, the one that came with Mina is still one of my favourites. It's one that I've been using on him so far. It has been the one I've been using the most with him. However, it's very similar to one that came with Kaiju 8 already. I kind of commented on that with Mina release, so I won't go into detail now. But it's nice to get something that is drastically different from what we already had. The articulation on Kaiju 9 here definitely is above and beyond what I expected, especially after Reno, who was pretty damn disappointing overall. So it's nice to get something which has really good articulation in the line. Yeah, the accessories is cool, the effects are really awesome. The spore blasting ones, and then the additional arms. This gives me hope that we can get a Tenshinhan from Dragon Ball with the additional arms from, was it the 23rd tournament? Anyway, that would be amazing, right? So it's nice to see these additional gimmicks come through, and that gives this figure definitely a lot of playability, which is great to see. The sculpting is really nice, that veiny look, veiny bony look in his arms and his hands comes through really well. So yeah, overall pretty damn solid release, maybe the best release of a Kaiju 8 line so far. Overall, yeah, I think I'd have to rank 9 first, Mina, then Kaiju 8, then Neno. Kaiju 8 is really cool, but it's definitely a weak release in terms of what he came with. And some articulation at points can be a little bit more limiting, but yeah, what is your ranking? I'm keen to know. Let me know how you would place these figures from best to worst, and yeah, what other characters are you hoping that they give the Kaiju 8 S.H.Figuarts treatment in the near future? As I mentioned before, my top one is definitely probably Kaiju number 10, and I would actually like the sweeper cleaning version of Kafka and Neno. I think those two would be a lot of fun to see. So yeah, I'm keen to read what you guys all write and how it compares. But that's it for a video. We'll take some photos of this guy eventually and check him on Insta, so keep an eye out for that if you are keen. And if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments below as well. So yeah, anyway, again, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, cheers!